The views and opinions expressed on this channel falls under the Fair Use Copyright Act of 1976. It's for entertainment, criticism, and commentary purposes only. It's all alleged.
Hey there. Welcome, civilians. You've arrived at the home of civilized and thought-provoking commentary. Get ready for elevation, growth, and experience. I am the civilized woman. Please like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. My, and well. Welcome back, y'all. I am telling you, y'all, it is never dull in these love and marriage Huntsville streets. Carlos, what you doing? Is this the end of his kingdom reign? To EP or not to EP? That is the question. Is his devious efforts as EP of Love and Marriage Huntsville a house of cards that will soon crumble? Well, let's talk about it. You know, I've been very, very puzzled by the way Carlos has been moving for a very long time. The idea of having a successful show is to keep that going. Am I right or am I crazy? So the way he has been moving does not make sense for somebody who should want to continue to be successful. So I think it might be helpful for him. Perhaps he may not be familiar exactly with what the definition of an EP is and what the EP does and what the EP is responsible for. So I thought that maybe I would use this content today to help him out with that, just to refresh him, or maybe the concept of being an executive producer may perhaps be a little new to him. Because if you look at his history, he's a finesser. It does not appear, in my opinion, that Carlos has been in position by actually being skilled in terms of certainly maturity-wise, as a person internally. So I think that this may be causing him to understand maybe why there's a lack of understanding, I'll say it that way, of what he needs to be doing, how he should be conducting himself. Because he's been wilding for a long time, and he has been working really hard behind the scenes to try and dig a very big ditch for Melody Cherie. All that work he's doing is, quite frankly, gonna be his undoing, and that ditch that he's digging is gonna be for him and him alone, and whoever else goes down with him, whoever else was fool enough, whether it be cast members or bloggers or other reality stars that have decided to go along this journey with him, this journey of destruction that will be his and whoever else around him undoing. So let's just go over. It's very important for us to go over what an EP is, because, again, we're trying to help Carlos out because he's out here tripping. So we need him to understand what his job is supposed to be and how he needs to go about doing that. And it's insane that the fact that he doesn't appear to know what his job is causing him money, and it's ultimately going to be his own demise, at least as it comes to the entertainment industry. So let's get it. Let's go. Okay. So what is an executive producer? According to Google, an executive producer is a top-level role in the media production industry. They're responsible for managing both the creative and the financial aspects of the project. Let's pause right there, because word on the street is we've already heard from other people that he don't be trying to pay people. So he might be lacking when it comes to that financial aspect, but let's keep going. Some of the responsibilities of the EP is funding, hiring, budgeting, legal issues like copyrights and loyalties, and creative direction. The EP needs a diverse set of skills, including strong leadership. I think Miss Melody Cherie called that into question, and I don't think that it's a long shot for her to question his leadership ability or his lack thereof, business acumen, and creative insights. This individual can be in name only or hands-on. They may also need skills in financial management, marketing knowledge, networking, negotiations, and storytelling. To become an EP, you can simply gain work experience in the industry through roles as being a production assistant or an associate producer, and you may also want to consider further educations in relevant fields. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's how Mr. Carlos got his chance, was being a production assistant, where he really came to the forefront. A production assistant on Bravo, and Candy kind of gave him his shot to be EP, and we've heard the thank you that he gave for her advocating for him and giving him a chance. And we definitely see a pattern with Mr. Carlos of not loving or respecting women, however, in particular black women, but however, using them to propel him to the next level. He has never been able, in my opinion, from what I can see, to be able to get himself to a level without stepping on or using black women to propel him up. And then when he feels like he gets to a level where he does not leave you, he does not need you anymore, he shows you his behind to kiss. But I digress. In television specifically, the executive producer credit is often applied to individuals who are involved with the production in a hands-on capacity. Now, Carlos, he doesn't know if he's hands-on, if he's not hands-on. He says he's not hands-on, but then he says, okay, he's the one that brings certain cast members on. So he's supposed to be, especially in television, which is what OWN is, a television network, and Love and Marriage Huntsville is a television show. So he's supposed to be hands-on in this. So as an executive producer, you usually supervise the creative content, the plans and schedules, the filming with the producer and the team, and may also be involved in the financial budgeting of production. So why am I taking the time to go over the definition of an executive producer, right? Why would I do that? Well, because Carlos is supposed to be, he's listed as the executive producer of Love and Marriage Huntsville. And based on the description of an executive producer, I want us to examine how his actions stack up with the definition we just went over. What should that look like? How does he stack up to that definition of an executive producer? Let's see here. So Love and Marriage was sold to us as Black excellence. That's the theme. If you go on his website and you read any publications that have done any mock-up or any interviews on him, that always comes up, Black excellence, Black excellence. So that's what we were sold, right? We were supposed to be getting Black excellence. It was to show us as successful entrepreneurs navigating life as friends, married, and business owners, right? The show, though, however, soon took a different turn when chief couple Martell and Melody Holt at the time were going through their marriage struggles. They actually started going through their marriage struggle before the show started, and to Melody's credit, she just didn't want to do the show because she's like, I'm not going to come on here and do a show when I know my marriage is going through something. He presented himself as somebody who would take care of her, who would handle her story with care, who would handle her with compassion, who would be authentic, and who would be genuine with her. So with that, she decided to proceed with the show. But because she is a genuine and integral person, she was not going to come on the television screen and perpetrate a front and act like everything was sweet when it wasn't. So to her incredible credit, her efforts in transparency and being willing to share what was really going on with her, she opened us up to her world and what she was dealing with her marriage and her husband being an infidel for countless of years. Now, Carlos King was aware of this, like I mentioned before, and he gave her this assurance. However, there are other couples. Matter of fact, this show started off with six people, three sets of couples who have their own issues and are going through other things. We're by 7, 8 seasons later, and somehow the road still leads back to Melody and Martell's relationship. Now, granted, these folks haven't been together in years. She's been done with him, divorced almost 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. and yet they still try to circle back and connect them together. And aside here, I think the reason why even everybody seems to struggle with the fact that Melody divorced Martell. I think when she was with Martell, that was when they had the most access to her, and most importantly, they could benefit from her. And since they have not been able to do that, people just really don't know how to adjust. And every opportunity they get, they try to take her back to somewhere where she is not. You need to be careful about that when you're around people that's always trying to get you back somewhere where you left. So that's an aside, but that's important because that plays a part in why we keep getting this recycled, reductive storyline season after season after season. So let's go over a couple of storylines that could be going on with this show. Like I mentioned before, as Kimmy, to use her words, the core six. There's two other couples that started this show along with Mel and Martell. So let's talk about them. So here's a couple of storylines that let's just throw out there what we could be doing, what we could be illustrating. For example, Marcel and Letitia. In my opinion, their business acumen is truly lacking, right? Because they're supposed to be these big entrepreneurs that know what they're doing. In my opinion, they're just frauds and perpetrators trying to fake the funk and pretend that they're about that, and they're really not. But anyway, they've attempted to present themselves as entrepreneurs. Well, it's really no secret that they've had some legal issues, right, with their business endeavors. They have poor business practices. They're taking money and not completing jobs, or they're not qualified for certain tasks, and these people that have contracted them have to then bring in other people who actually know how to do the job to be able to complete these projects. So we all know business is not easy. It would be a great lesson if we could get that transparency to say, listen, we've learned some things or two from Mel and Martell. We thought that we would be able to, go ahead and forge on and create our own thing. But it has not been easy. These are the pitfalls we have experienced. We want everybody to be able to learn from what we have experienced and move forward, and we get to watch them kind of go through these failures and these mistakes that they've made and how they are working to fix them. That would be a terrific storyline because that is relatable. That is real life. There are tons of people in the world who attempt entrepreneurial endeavors every day. So that would be very valuable to see them go through that and how they're navigating that in an honest way. That's along the same lines with Stormy as well. As capable as Stormy is, as creative as she is in terms of being able to make something out of nothing in doing her business, she has a problem with being able to do what she needs to do to go to the next step and keep it consistent and not keep meeting up with the same issues, namely customer service issues, or quite frankly, as of late, cutting somebody out of your business who's been beneficial because they're calling you to go higher by saying, hey, we can't do this, we can't do that. So that's another lesson too that we can learn how somebody can really go through being able to overcome these business challenges. Heck, her relationship with her mama would be another one. That right there, that toxic minefield would be another one to kind of focus on, because how do a daughter who grows up with a mother as such, you're not the little girl anymore, you're a grown woman. How do y'all navigate that relationship? How do you navigate dealing with a mother who called you the B word when you were a child? That also would be another great one to go over as well. Kimmy and Maurice. Kimmy, being a former nurse, leaving her nursing, and as soon as she left, being diagnosed with cancer, being able to see how going through that health scare and him being a husband, helping her to navigate that and what that means for their relationship. Heck, she would say her illness, like just to spare his little immature feelings, like she couldn't even say what she actually had and had to put it on the wall, so just to relieve him of having to emotionally be there for her. It's insane. And then then we spent all this time talking about her daggone libido. Like, girl, first of all, you over 50, number one. Number two, you're dealing with an illness that takes a lot on your body just by going through the treatment to keep you alive. Like, are you for real that the focus is going to be on your daggone libido at this point? Another part of this story could be how they navigate her helping him to raise his son and making sure that she still has a voice. She's not just doing the work, and how she has a voice. So all these different things that we could have presented to us, or even how she deals with his ex-wife and how they navigate that. They did that like maybe one episode, but that's an ongoing thing. I can't imagine that that's the only time they've gotten together, when they had this young boy who I'm not really sure how old Monster is now. I'll call him Maurice, because I don't know why you would give the boy a nickname like Monster. Maurice Jr. is, but he was underage, so no question would they have to some way kind of cross paths, especially since Maurice had left her to do the complete job of raising her child. So these are just a few examples of storylines that we could have had that would have made the show more robust. It would have made it more well-rounded show. It would have made it a more enjoyable show, and it would have made it a more enriching show. But instead, we get regurgitation of the same old stuff. So now we're going to go back to the definition of the EP. I'm just going to pick out a couple of things of what it means to be out of the description of what it means to be an executive producer. And let's just pull out a couple and see how Carlos stacks up to that definition. Well, one of the things that was in it was strong leader. I think based on Melody's live that she's done today or yesterday, this video, I'm actually recording this on the 28th of August, leaves a lot to be desired. She made a lot of points about if somebody is making you money, why would you want to mess with somebody who's putting money in your pocket? That makes no sense. That's the part of this that's already gotten me. This is an easy alley-oop, son. Like, you are dealing with a woman who experienced infidelity in her marriage. She opened that up for us to be able to see that. She has an insane fan base who love her and support her in any and every endeavor. Right there, that's your protagonist. That's the person you need to be backing. Y'all want to fake like she's your favorite when we know she's not your favorite. If you were really about your business and not working from a place of trauma, you would see that and handle your stuff. Now, Andy Cohen is not much better than you in some ways, but for goodness sake, if nothing else, he's not finna mess up with his money. Why are you doing things to mess up your money and your future being able to move forward in this business? You make no sense, sir. I don't understand what you're doing. At every turn, you're making decisions that's plummeting the ratings lower and lower, to the point where you then have to circle back to Melody to put some things together so the ratings could come back up. Imagine somebody brings you the idea of a show. You tweak it and make it your little funky thing so you can act like you're the one who created the show. She's making you money, all the success, and every step of the way you're working behind the scenes to take her out, or to disparage her in some kind of way, or to cause her to leave the show that she created, or to cause her to feel away by herself. Do you know that for less than that, people have taken themselves out for what you have and continue to orchestrate against this woman? It's not but the grace of God and the fact that she's strong and she's fortified. She knows who she is. She got a praying mama. She's a praying person. She got people praying for her around her, and she has a strong support system. What is wrong with you? Do you not want to make money? You don't want to be successful in life? You need to go find you a good therapist, and not that fool that Destiny sees. You need to go find you a real one who can really help you, because you getting ready to really mess up on a lot of money. And for me, I'm waiting for Melody to bring that red phone out on you, sir. I'm waiting for that house of cards to tumble down. I'm waiting for the day that red phone comes out on you. Moving on. Not a leader, sir. Being messy is not leadership. Being messy is not leadership, sir. Creative insight. There is nothing insightful about recycling a dead storyline or pulling back to shows that you've done previously and bringing that to the forefront with what Bravo. What is your obsession with Bravo? If you would just handle your own business, pun intended, you wouldn't need to be worried about what Bravo's doing. Focus on what you're doing, sir. Focus on the business that pays you, and the business that pays you is a show that has Melody Cherie on it. You're committed to making this woman a villain in her own story. Do you understand how deplorable it is to back somebody who tortures her, their children, who would put out revenge tea on her, and y'all are sitting there because you done got them other fools to fall in line with you because they don't seem to understand that this is not going to end well for them. This show is going to end at some point. It's not going to keep going because nothing lasts forever. What are they going to be able to do when their show ends? Because Melody she's going to be fine. What are the rest of them going to do? And what other areas of their lives are they going to blame her for it? I don't know how you have this ability to be able to finesse people out of good sense, like you've done with Dr. Heavenly, which I don't give a darn. Something ain't clean in the buttermilk. Everything ain't sweet in her home. If she got the kind of energy and time to be talking, sitting there up on the internet with you, talking the way she talked on y'all's Messy Monday. No married woman who is happily married and everything's going well in her house and her husband actually gives a crap about what she does comes out and talks the way that she talks. Moving on. Another one is business acumen. In my opinion, you ain't got that either. That lady, Melody, handed you her real life. The pain, the heartache, the agony, everything that comes with dealing with a man who has an affair on you. You're on a network that was started by a woman that is a female, a women's dominated network, the Oprah Winfrey Network. From a business perspective, you had a clean slate, my guy. It's an alley-oop. How you mess up an alley-oop? Anyway, I continue. Lord have mercy. It don't make no sense. Carlos, you have a poor pattern when it comes to reality TV. You really, really do. You have a poor pattern. Like I mentioned earlier, you're a finesser, guy. You're a finesser. You're a finesser. It is evident with how you're handling everything that's going on with this show, with Melody. By the way, this is the most successful show you have had. This show is probably the reason that you were able to buy Erica Mena's and Safari's home. This show has probably been what you've been able to use to manage to squeeze a couple of more shows out of the OWN network. This show. You've had many other shows, and most of them you get a season at best, maybe two. No, I don't recall you having any other show that you were the EP of that won more than 3 seasons. I stand to be corrected, but I don't think so. And the reason for that is one Melody Cherie, sir. It's not every day you run into your destiny helper. That woman has a unique ability to be able to make everybody else around her better. There's not too many people walking out here in the world that's willing to do that. Not only for them to be good, but they look for other people. They look for greatness in other people, and they look to pull out greatness in other people. She would never dare talk to the people that works for her and works with her, or allow anybody else to talk about them the way you do. you have a problem, sir. You need to seek help. Like, seriously. It's the fact that you're messing up money and you're just being a cruel person. You genuinely don't care. And the sad part is the people that you're using don't realize how much you don't care. Not only are you a finesser in being able to get into positions you haven't worked for, you haven't earned, nor are you qualified for, you're also able to finesse people into giving up their positions for you. Dustin, he was doing fine, and then you finessed him into working along with you, and he hadn't been moving like that ever since. DJ Richie Sky, who did an ad with Melody for her 7th Avenue skin line. All of a sudden, he puts out a story. He only puts out one side, not the other, and there's another relationship severed. Heavenly, the same way. She actually was on good terms with Melody at one point. It's like these people forget how you really move. And they allow you to finesse it, and whoever else you got, like this cast. Who knows how good Melody is? Who knows what it's like to have her connect or have access to her connects? Can't none of them carry this show. You have tried. You tried to do Tisha and her family. You tried to do Stormy and her storyline, and it's been whack, sir. And then this foolishness that you're doing, this project you have going on, to this diabolical plan you have to come against Melody on all fronts. You got Destiny on here with this Destiny Sunny and Moses storyline. Don't nobody give a darn. That man was not her husband. Okay, the way that Stormy and Moses got together wasn't clean. Ain't nobody gonna say anything different. And she better hope and pray that he don't do her dirty. But the reality is you needed a way to have Destiny come back on the show so she can be Marcel's mouthpiece against Melody. Because there ain't no other reason. And I can't even imagine the level of desperation that she's on to allow you to trick her into coming back on the show. Or not even trick her, that she would be willing to come back on the show. To embarrass herself yet again. This lady claims that Melody is this, Melody is that, she's not a good friend, she's not all of that. But why are you still talking about her? What self-respecting woman thinks that another woman is not a good person, is not a good friend, wronged her, and yet her name's steady in your mouth. And then you don't even have any kind of self-respect. You're going to go on a trip that she paid for that has her name on it? How pathetic. So that's the attempt of that storyline. And don't even, this Ken and Trisha and Marquez nonsense, I don't even believe that Ken and Trisha are actually together, because my mind cannot wrap around where a normal self-respecting man would, in the world where there is the man to woman ratio favors a man, okay, would mess around and be with a woman who hasn't divorced her husband. What sense does that make? So that was another point, just to bring somebody on there to throw in Melody's face that used to mess with Martell. Mind you, Melody let us know that Ariane was not the first, and she wasn't the only. So at every turn, you try to surround this lady and keep her in a room full of vultures. It don't make no sense. I said it before, and I'll say it again. The grave, Carlos, that you are digging for Melody will be the one that is tailor-made for you.